Hello, sixth graders. Welcome back to what I hope will be another fantastic week for you at the Helena Middle School. For the next few weeks, I'm going to start in on some guidelines for academic success. We're going to begin today talking about why on earth are we here? Why can't we sleep in every day, eat donuts, play video games, Snapchat our friends, Instagram our friends? Why do we have to be in school? What is the bigger point of all this being in school? So we're going to get started on a three-part series titled Tips for Your Academic Success. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to call it. We're already at midterm time for the first quarter, which means your first quarter is halfway through. Do the math. That's 1/8 of the school year already in the books. So next 3 weeks, going to give some academic tips on how to academically be your best here at HMS now that you're in middle school. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get rocking and rolling. All right, we're on to Bob Lesson, Your Guide to Academic Success, Part 1. But first, let's be our best this week at HMS. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and let's especially be a learner. All right, sixth graders, I have a question for you. Think about some things you would honestly rather be doing right now at this moment than sitting in advisor or being here at school. I've asked this question to a lot of middle school students, and here are some of the most popular answers that I have gotten. They'd rather be playing video games, of course. They'd rather be sleeping. If you're anything like me, yeah, I like sleeping. They'd rather be watching TV. They'd rather be longboarding. They'd rather be reading. They'd rather be vegging out at home watching Netflix. This one's big, spending time on their smartphones and maybe spending time on social media on their smartphones. We talked about that last week. How about traveling, being on vacation? How about playing their favorite sport, being active? How about just hanging out with friends? Maybe hanging out with family, maybe just hanging out at home and not doing anything at all, or maybe not doing anything at all and just vegging out. Or how about eating, enjoying their favorite meal or a favorite snack? There are a lot of things I know you guys would rather be doing at this moment than sitting here at school. So knowing that begs the question, why are we here in school? Why do we have to be in school? I want you to take 1 minute and I want you to think about this to yourself, maybe chat quietly with the partner next to you.
You said we make a deal. You said we make a deal. Is what you said. Is what you said. So tell me all your lies. Such a thin disguise. We fool ourselves. We fool ourselves.
All right, so what are the reasons that you came up with or you and your partner came up with? Hopefully you came up with a few of these. Obviously, to get an education. That's the main reason we are here. And to get an education means we have to learn, to gain knowledge, to grow physically, to grow emotionally, to grow academically, to lay a foundation. I'm going to talk about that here a little bit more. And obviously to prepare for high school. To prepare for a career so that you are career ready when you do graduate from high school, to gain new skills and to gain new knowledge. So here's our goal for you. By the time you graduate from high school, you should be college or career ready. But Mr. Flato, what does that mean? That means that by the time you finish the 12th grade, you should graduate and be fully equipped and prepared to join the quote-unquote real world. That's where mommy and daddy's not taking care of you anymore, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle. You are taking care of yourselves by gaining adequate enough employment to live independently on your own as an adult, not having anybody taking care of you. Or you should be fully equipped and prepared to continue your education at maybe a trade school, learning new skills, maybe a 2-year college, maybe a 4-year college. Whichever route you take doesn't necessarily need to be decided today, and I will talk more at length about this in future Bob lessons. So that is our goal. That is why we are here in school today. The honest truth about the real world. And again, I define the real world as being an adult, being out, being self-sufficient, taking care of yourselves. The real world can be a cold, unforgiving, and tough place. Don't sweat it though. Our job is to prepare you for success in the real world. Again, that's why we are here in school, to get you prepared for the real world so you can go out there and knock it out the park. The real world only cares about what you bring to the table, and this is kind of a metaphor. In other words, what skills and abilities do you have that are useful and can be put forth in employment that are worthy of somebody paying you someday? What is it that's going to be your thing in life? What's going to be your purpose? What's going to be your thing that gets you up out of bed every day in the morning that you go do, and then they give you a paycheck so that you can survive and live independently? What your thing is, you will choose to focus on, develop, and hopefully be passionate about. And I'm going to talk more about that when we do career cruising. I'll speak in future lessons about how we all have this one thing we are capable of doing better than 99% of everyone else, regardless of who you are. I'm really confident about this, that when everybody discovers their thing that they can bring to the table, that is their gift to the world, I'm convinced everybody has it, but we need to develop this foundation. We need to be in school every day working to gain knowledge so that we have those doors open when we are an adult and we can go out and do that thing. The real world is a highly competitive place. I was just talking to a group of kids. I think whenever we have an opening here at HMS, there are tons of people applying, not literally tons, but dozens and dozens of people applying for positions that come open. If you want to do something in life and you have a job or a career or a passion that you want to make your thing that you bring to the table, there's a very good chance there's going to be other people with that same passion. And when there's other people that are all wanting the same thing, that leads to competition. So what skills and abilities do you have that sets you apart from others? Something to think about. And that's a huge reason why we are here in school learning every day, is so that we can develop those skills and abilities that are going to set us apart from other people when we do get to the real world. I hope that all makes sense. But Mr. Flater, we're in middle school, not high school. We're not going to be adults and in the real world for a long time. And you know what? I do 100% agree with that. As sixth graders, you guys are 6.5, almost 7 years away from being in the real world. Some of you will be further if you go to a 2-year college or 4-year college or get an advanced degree that I'll talk about in future Bob lessons. Well, I want to share the quote of the week with you. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And what this really means is, let's think about planting a tree in terms of building a sweet tree house. This tree house is taken from the back of Mr. Kepler's yard. Mr. Kepler built this summer. Just joking, but Mr. Kepler did build a pretty sweet tree house this summer. But the best time to build this tree house isn't, we can't go out and plant this tree like you see on the right and expect it to hold up a bunch of 2x4s and people in it. We have to plant that tree and then build that foundation and then wait for the tree to develop so that we can go and we can build a cool tree house on it. Well, same thing's going on with you guys. If you think about the real world taking 20 years to get to, from birth to the real world, we have to build a strong tree. We have to build a strong foundation so that when we are in the real world, we can support a really cool treehouse. I hope you guys like that.
This week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week winners: Alex Gill, Ashton Denning, Maximus Murray, Lane Petrie, Kaylee Lewis Christ, and Gene Simmons. The answer was 194. Nice work, crew. This week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week: two siblings have the same parents and were born at the same hour on the same day of the same month, but are not twins. How could this be possible? If you think you know the answer, submit your answer to the Bob Box. Make sure your first and last name's on it. Tune in next week. See if you are going to be the winner recipient of a spoonful of jelly beans. All right, Bobcats, let's make it a great week at the Helena Middle School.